So here's some of the terms for SBA. And think of it kind of in two sides here, right? You have the SBA program, which is a federal program, which has rules and regulations to it. And then you have a lender, a bank, right? They could be local, they could be national, but that lender is going to lend you the money. You're going to be talking to them, but they have to follow all the rules of SBA and they have to submit certain forms to get approved with that. The rules itself for SBA say that they can only lend up to $5 million, right? That's where SBA caps out. So that doesn't mean your deal can't be more than $5 million. They're just going to lend $5 million. If you had a $6 million deal, you could put $1 million down and get $5 million loan, right? But at the SBA caps at $5 million. We borrowed 7.2 or 7.5 or something like that, and it happened to be I think it was 4.8 million on my SBA loan. That's my first position loan. And then the bank did a pari passu loan, which is a second loan. And pari passu means to match the terms. So they're just copying and pasting. They're matching the exact terms of the SBA. And I think that was a $2.4 million loan on the backside there. So SBA does do a 25-year fully amortized loan, which is fantastic because you don't have to go and like refinance again, right? There's not a bridge loan. It's just like, here's your loan. Like you get the loan one time. It's going to start with construction, right? And then I think it's 25 or 26 months of interest only payments. And then it naturally switches over to principal and interest. So you could obviously pay that earlier if you chose to, but it starts with an interest only thing, loan payments. And then you don't have to like really transition. It's just one loan. So SBA does have a 3-year prepayment penalty. So if you get to month 37, right, the prepayment penalty is gone. You don't have to pay it anymore. But in year 1, it's 5%. So don't refinance then, it's high. In year 2, it's 3%. Still don't do it. In year 3, or between year 2 and year 3, is 1%. And honestly, I will probably end up paying this 1% fee of about 70 grand here in about a year or so I can start my phase 2 building. So you just need one loan. They do have a 3-year prepayment penalty. So that's something to be considering on this. And year 1 is about 5% of the money you've borrowed, right? So don't refinance in year 1. Year 2 is about 3%, or not about, it is. And then in between year 2 and 3, right, it's a 1% prepayment penalty. If you get to month 37, then it's done, right? There's no prepayment. You can pay off the loan anytime. And honestly, I think this is a great 3-year product. I want to do an SBA loan. I want to wait my 3 years, and then I'm going to go back to my local bank. I'm going to have 2 years of tax returns to show them, and then say, hey, you know what? Let's do an appraisal on the business and the property, and let's pull some cash back out. We can pay off our investors. We can pay off the SBA, and then we'll have a 30-year fixed from my local bank that I can get more competitive rates from. So that's kind of my plan. That's why I think it's not a big deal. There's a 3-year prepayment penalty. SBA, they'll lend typically 80 to 90%. For me personally, they're lending 85%. For a lot of our partners, the same, about 85%. They can lend 100%. Probably not your first deal, right? If you're building like me in phases and you're building and you have a lot of equity in the product and the project, they'll fund at that point, they'll fund 100% for phase 2 and phase 3, right? So you don't necessarily have to come out of pocket and raise more investor capital if you're building in phases, which I think is awesome because that's what we are doing.